Great. All right, welcome everyone. I'm Tracy Clark. If you haven't been here before or met me before, I'm the secretary for AUW California. I'm also on the communications team, which Dawn Johnson leads, and I'm doing this on behalf of that group. And every month we meet to talk about some sort of tech subject, and it's all based on what the group wants to hear about or what you're struggling with. So it's more of a forum. I try to get some sort of topic of the day and then not monopolize the whole time with that, but leave time for some Q&A for that, and also some other things you might want to bring up that have happened in the last month or so that we can utilize the expertise of those on this call and share some of our experiences. So topics we've had in the past, lots of things about Google. This time, however, we're going to be talking about the AUW California website. And we do have a little bit of preview news of something coming soon that I think everyone will enjoy hearing about. I'll have Dawn speak on that in a moment. But I like to do this every year. I like to try to walk through the website because we forget what's out there. And we tend to not go there as a reference. We ask a question first. We try to call people, whatever, and say, where is that information, or how can I get that? And a lot of times it's out there on the website, and we just haven't, gotten ourselves familiar enough with it. So if I don't have any questions from anybody regarding our plan tonight, I'm going to go out and share my screen and start showing you pieces of the website that I think are very helpful. Yes, ma'am. Bobby?
This is the first one of these I've been to, and I'm curious about how long they last. What do you anticipate?
An hour, pretty
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't try to keep you longer than that. Anything else? Any other questions anybody has? Okay. I don't see any hands raised. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And then I'm going to have to I have a lot of things open here, so I'm going to have to find it or open a new one. I'll open a new one. Okay. So when I talk about the website, what I'm talking about here with this group is the AUW California website, which right here is the URL, and it's called auw-ca-california.org, O-R-G. So that's our website for the state. You probably have one or some form of one for your branch, and you'll have to find out what the name of that is from the person who maintains that if that's not you. So anyway, this is where you go. In general, I want to show you on the home page here that we have a whole bunch of menu items at the top. It's in smaller font. If you notice, it's smaller point size. And then we have a number of items down on a secondary menu. And the intention of this has always been that this is more internal use for AUW members. It's more technical in nature sometimes, like tools that we use as a branch, some business stuff that we use at the state level, governance and so forth. And our directory, the webinars are here, which we're going to look at that a bit today. And the programs that we have: GovTrek, SpeechTrek, TechTrek, Start Smart, Work Smart, and Branch Activity of the Year. Now you'll have information here that is not down here. You might have information here that is replicated down here. The intent of the second menu here is more outward facing. And what that means is if someone, let's say a parent, wants to learn about TechTrek, hopefully we've directed them and given them a URL to go to this version of TechTrek. Because if I go there now, it'll show you more things that are more of interest to an outsider of AUW. It's more higher level. It's more like, how do I donate to the program? What is TechTrek about? Testimonials and so forth. And what's camp like? Where if we go under here and we see programs in TechTrek, you're going to see a lot more information about how to make TechTrek run behind the scenes. So you're able to look at both. It's just if you're directing someone from the outside, or if you're looking at it for the first time and just want to know, hey, what is this GovTrack thing? You might want to start here because it's more high level. And then there's some about our mission here and a few recent articles that are posts that we've placed out here. More recent activity like the board to board for November, which is the last one that's been published, other than the one that was just published today, as a matter of fact. Branch activity of the year, how to apply. So if you want to see current things, just scroll down.
Thank you.
And
It looks wonderful.
please mute if you're not muted already.
Enjoy.
Are you able to mute Linda Baker, Don?
I'm here, Linda Baker.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, we were hearing-
Apologize.
That's okay. No problem. Everybody mute if they can, in case they get in another conversation. That would be great. So anyway, the main screen is maybe all you need to do in some cases, because that's where you're going to go from, or you want to look at something that's really recent and just scroll down and say, oh yeah, I want to see the B2B for December. That'll be posted very soon here. We just published it today, and you go and read it and so on. Where I want to start is I want to talk about where we post our, we talked about recording this session. So I want to show where that's at. So if you don't make it to next month, let's say, and always know that these are being recorded, if we remember. Last time we forgot for a while. But our intention is to post these out here so that you can look at them anytime. In fact, if you're here, you go, oh, we talked about Google Drive last time, and I really wanted to reference some of the material that was presented. I didn't make good notes or whatever. I need to see it again. I think I'm going to get this right. Am I right, Dawn? It's out here.
Yes. But you don't go to one of the side menus, you actually just click communications. And
Okay,
that'll
that's
also
where I'm
be
always
really,
confused. Yeah.
I know that'll be instructional too, because you can see that unfortunately we have 3 submenus and it looks like that's all that's on that page, but there's a
Yeah.
lot more as you'll scroll down.
Correct.
just
Yeah. So
Click the general communications button, you'll get all of these things below.
yeah.
So
So
if you
since
keep
you,
going, if you
just to
scroll
go
down,
back, right, and just to go back to where I was before,
Yep.
if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I want to see I want to see last month's or 2 months ago, or I want to see what the topics were from the last month's. Bobby, you were new, so if you want to go back and look and see what the topics were for the earlier part of this year, you can go here and look at it and go, oh, I can go to the website. She just told me that. And I probably wouldn't go here because this is information that's for external use. And really what we talk about in these sessions are mostly internal. So I know it was something on this menu because it was internal. So that would at least get you to the right menu. And then the next thing to remember is, where was it? It's not a branch tool. It's none of these. So it's under California Business. Sometimes you have to search around a little bit to find it. And in this case, we went to the communications page. So just clicked on communications, we ended up here. So if you go here, it's not on the first page, but as we scroll down, you will see newsletter.
there's lots of other helpful materials on
Lots
this
of-
page, like our logos and so on.
Tracy, I think you're looking for branch tools.
Oh, I'm looking at that.
Oh, that's
Tracy,
right.
thanks, Rand. I just realized I was looking for something else and
Right here.
I goofed myself. I was thinking of something else. Oh, well, we showed on the communication page.
So communications shows you, some of the key dates on our calendar, board to board. This is where you find the archive of that. California Connection is also here. If you missed it and you don't want to look in your emails, and newsletters, how to subscribe so that you get a listing when the newsletters have been posted. Also, the logos are here. So if you need to download a California logo or any of this information, Speech Track, Tech Track, and GovTrack. Yes,
And
Linda?
the Zoom background is there. The Zoom
Oh, yeah.
background is there too. If you want to look really, really cool like Tracy does.
Yeah. and you, Don.
Oh, yeah, right.
So you can look around there and take those and download them and actually put them in your Zoom virtual background. So back to where we were intended to be, which is actually under branch tools, and it's stating right there, AEW California peer groups. This is what's called a peer group, even though we call it the tech, you can call it the tech call or whatever you want to call it. It's actually the tech peer group for the communications team. So it's a peer group, which means we're amongst our peers, and we use this particular one to share ideas regarding technical issues. So if we go to that page, there's a drop down right here. Choose your peer group, because a lot of the committees have their own peer group, and they currently have their own calls. They post their own information under here. All these AEW Fund, Branch Development, DEI, Finance, etc. And we're down here at the bottom. And this is how you find me. And this is the frequency, first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. And we click here to go to the YouTube video playlist where all the recordings are. So we're going to go there right now. Okay, so now we're in YouTube. And here's where all the communication. Look at Dawn, she's so happy. On May 2nd, she was
That must
very
have been early
happy.
in the year.
It was May 2nd. You're just, yeah. Happy. Okay, so this was net last month, which was November 7th. So all you would do is click on that and you'd be able to see the recording of it and so on. So this is where the recording for this session will be posted here too. When we're done with it, you'll be notified that it's there, I believe. Everybody's notified, and then it gets posted here at that time. And it usually takes a few days, depending on the availability of the resources to get it out. Excuse me, to get it out here.
I actually don't think, Tracy, forgive me, but I don't believe everyone will be notified, but we just tell people,
Okay.
allow 48 hours, minimally.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that everybody got an email. Okay. So
Yeah.
just don't expect it to be out there immediately after the call is done. Give it a couple of days and come out here and check exactly the way I showed you. Any questions regarding this?
Yes, is there a way to know the topics for these groups, for these meetings?
It's a good question you're asking, and I think we'll be answering that hopefully when I let Don speak for a moment. So we're going to have, I don't know to what extent it's been resolved. So we're working on that right now. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Any other questions regarding how I got here or what's on here? Okay.
Yes, this is Karen Burley. How did you get to this page? I'm not able to take notes fast enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I just went back. And let me start from the beginning. If you go to the home page, that's where you land if you do auw-ca.org.
Got that.
Okay. And then we went under branch tools in the small menu. I call it the small menu because it's smaller font. And under there is AEW California peer groups.
Okay.
And then when I click on that, all you need to do is notice that there's a drop down right here. Choose your peer group here.
Okay.
And then you can look at feel free to look at any of the others that interest you, like finance has theirs, different things. You want to look at GovTrek and see more about it. Click on theirs. If you want to see what they've been talking about in their meetings to get ready for this year. And then here we are, Communications Technology Peer Group. And this is where I got to YouTube. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. And before I turn it over to Dawn to talk about a project that's we're undergoing right now, that I wanted to show you where webinars are, because in the past, like definitely during COVID, those of you that were with us during COVID, we did a lot of webinars.
Yeah, actually,
Because-
Tracy, if you want me to go ahead, that is specifically what I'm going to talk about.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, because then they'll be
If-
able to see, you know,
If
the
it-
feature
Yeah,
that they
see what else
they're
is
gonna need.
missing.
Yeah, let me stop sharing. Let me allow you to share. Oh, you're co-host, so you should be able to. Are you able to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are you seeing my home screen?
Yes.
Awesome. We're getting so slick. So hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Johnson, and I work with Tracy on the communications committee. And we work, of course, mostly with Sandy Gabe, who is really the one who manages all our tech and is our tech guru, as well as with some support from others, but she's kind of our guru. And she and I have been working on a project to try to make it easier for you to locate information about some of the presentations that we've done over the last few years, mainly our webinars. And so this is a kind of an exercise in optimizing a little bit about searchability for our materials. And I'm going to kind of go through where we are now. This is a work in progress, so you'll see a few glitches along the way, but that's the way it goes. What I'm going to be talking about is in the little menu up here that Tracy referenced, which is a more internal menu for our branch leaders. And we added a tab right here called webinars way back in the beginning of the dark days of COVID. And prior to that, we were, of course, disseminating information in different ways. We weren't using Zoom. Nobody knew about Zoom. So we weren't doing presentations that we could share out across the entire state and across all the leadership. And all of those things that Zoom has enabled us to do now in terms of, having fantastic broadcast abilities. So we began to do quite a number of webinars. We've done, in the neighborhood of 50 webinars over the last 3.5 years or so. And because this was a new task for us and a new option for us, originally Sandy stuck the webinars up here under a tab called webinars, and they were listed just by year. So there was a drop-down menu that said, what were all the webinars in 2019? What were all the webinars in 2020, 2021? So there was not really a way you would have to go through every year to look for a webinar. And there was not really a way to search them by the topic of the webinar or the title or anything like that. So we knew that this was kind of a weakness because it made it hard for you to see the resources that we had available. And so we sort of started this project that we've been working on for several months now to make these more searchable for you. So what I want to show you is that what we've replaced where was originally there was a drop-down menu with a year with all the webinars listed for each year. We've replaced it with a table. So what we've replaced this with is this page now. The beginning is an explanation of the table and how it's set up and how you can sort it. And then what we have done here is we have merged all of the webinars for the 3.5 years into a master table. And this is a sortable table. So it's a little bit easier to work with. And then there's some more things, a little more bells and whistles I'll tell you about in a minute. So these are all of our webinars, and you can imagine that there's a fair amount of work to review them and then to group them. So we've grouped them, certainly we've added, make sure that it has the year it was produced, the title of the webinar. And of course, if you click this link, you'll go directly to the recording of that webinar. Then we have a description, who hosted it. And what we've added is the general subject area. And that means that you can sort by subject area. So you at least have a little bit of an idea of what some of the options are. So there's branch development, DEI, finance, GovTrek, membership, programs, public policy are the general subject areas. So they're not perfect categories, but they give you a little bit of help in knowing if you're looking for a webinar related to finance or taxes or budgets or something, at least you can sort by that particular subject area to get started. And then we have the type. What kind of a presentation was it? So there, most of these, because we've just gotten started, are webinars, but we have now added PowerPoints. And these are PowerPoints that were done in earlier years before we had Zoom webinar technology available, but we still prepared some really excellent slide presentations, PowerPoint, for conventions or meetings or so on, that are still packed with information. Even though there's not a voiceover, they're very useful. So we've put those in there, and we have explained given a description of what they are. And we are now just continuing our work and starting to add documents. So documents would be a handout, for example, that was given out at a meeting or one of the convention workshops or something like that. And if they're really horribly outdated, or they're not particularly useful, or they're not standalone documents, we didn't put them in this table. But if it's something that still looks like it's relevant and it would be useful, such as this one, which is a very extensive list of all the Google tools, many of which have not really changed. So that's very, we'll be putting these in. We're about halfway done with that, but meantime, we have this number. So the descriptions, many of the descriptions when
Thank
the
you.
webinars were
No,
originally
I'm fine.
created.
Thank you. That was plenty. I ate both. Thank you. It was delicious. And I gave you a compliment when
Then-
everybody heard it.
Tracy, somebody needs to be muted, please.
Yeah, I did.
Got it. Thank you. So when these webinars were first created, people tried to put clever titles on them, which doesn't help us 4 years later in trying to know what that webinar was about. So She Who Thrives Survives. We had, well, what is that about? Is that like about going to the gym? Is that about eating healthy? I mean, is that about ending bad relationships? What is it? So we had to review some of these and look at what they were actually about. And so I tried to write a very, very short and pithy description of what's in that webinar that would help you. So you not only look at the subject area, but you can see a little bit like basically what is this webinar going to talk about, which is helpful. And then, if it interests you at all, you click the blue link and you'll go directly to that webinar. So what's one nice thing about this too is that it's sortable. So if you go up to the top here, you can sort all the webinars or documents or PowerPoints by the year they were created. You can look for a particular title. You can look for a host. So if you really love my webinars, you can find whatever I've done. If you really love Sandy's, which you probably would because they're very techy, you would go and find her things. And then, of course, you can sort by the subject area with the ones that I just mentioned. And again, these are very broad, these subject areas. And then you can do a search by a keyword, but it will only work if that keyword is in the title or the description. So that it'll only work if you do the title or the description. So if I wanted to search, so looking at She Who Thrives Survives, if I did a search for branches or something like that, this one would pop up. So right now, again, we're adding documents to this, so it's not completed. And also, it has a couple of glitches in it. If you do a search well, let me just go to, if you wanted to see all of the materials, we shouldn't call them webinars anymore, all of the resources relating to finance, you'll see the subject area here. You'll see everything related to finance. At this time, they're only webinars, but there will be some documents or PowerPoints as we complete the rest of this project. The little bit of a glitch that we have is that you have to go back and refresh the whole page in order to restore the whole table. So that's something that has to get fixed. So that's kind of how this works. Additionally, the second part of what we did on this project is we realized that sometimes people search by keywords or they search by topics or subject areas that may not be represented in the title. So, for example, this particular webinar here talks a lot about membership, how to grow membership, but there's no word membership in the title, so it would not appear in a search of this particular table. So what we've also done is gone back to every one of these resources here, reviewed them, and listed tag words or keywords that would help you find that webinar or that resource. So there are, and they're hidden. You can't see them. They're tagged onto the actual posting of the resource itself. So these will help you do what would be a more also an excellent way to look for resources, which is to go up and to use our regular good old website search tool. So if you are looking for a topic that doesn't appear in one of these when you do a search, you might find it. We have hidden a reference to that topic somewhere, and if you do a search up here, you'll be able to find it. So let me show you. Hold on, let me see. I just wrote a little example down. So yeah, I'll give you an example. If you were just working in the table, and let's say you wanted to learn something about strategic planning. So it's not going to return anything because there is no resource in our table at this time that has the words strategic planning in its title or strategic planning in its description. Because if I wrote descriptions with every single word that is referenced, the table would be 100 pages long. So instead, we hid some of these references as keywords. So now I need to restore this table. And as I said, unfortunately, you have to just go and refresh the whole page. However, if I go up to the main search engine and put in strategic planning and spell it correctly, it will pull up everything, all of our resources that have some relationship to strategic planning. They may not have been in the table identified in that way, but they are now available to you through the larger search engine because we've added these keywords. So, for example, we have a resource on our table that's called Growing California, and it's mainly about membership. It does not have the word strategic planning in its title or in its description on the chart. So you wouldn't see it if you typed in strategic planning there, but you would see it if you did here because we've reviewed all of these and we've added these tag words down here. And they're like hidden to you at first. But you see strategic planning is there. So because we tagged this webinar with that topic, it will appear. So it means that this particular webinar or resource or whatever it is would be something that you might want to look at if you were doing strategic planning for your branch. So some of the other tags we added on this particular one, and they're different for every one because it depends on what the resource talks about. We happen to add ambassadors. We added CU, so this references CU as a technique for growing membership. So we tagged that in there, and communications, interest groups, because it references using interest groups. Marketing, because growing membership is all about marketing, all about marketing. So we tried to think of like, what are the other words that you might search for? And then you would get to see this webinar that might be harder for you to find on the actual table. So we've done a lot of work to make that part more robust. And I encourage you to use this larger search tool up here at the top for many of your topics. It's quite robust. It's surprisingly robust. So if I put in taxes there, I'm going to see all of the resources that have taxes because the word taxes is in the title. I'm also going to see any place that I have tagged, like this one says roadmap for branch financial management. It doesn't have the word taxes in the title, but when we created that larger table that I showed you earlier, I put a hidden tag on for taxes, so it will pop up. So it's kind of oversimplification of it, but that is what we're working on. And I'll go back to the main table. We hope will be very useful for you. The materials in here some of them are instructional, and some of them are some of the more inspirational presentations that we've done over the last couple of years. So they're kind of mixed up, and that's why we thought it'd be easier for you to be able to search them a little bit more. So it was brought up earlier. Now, what about peer groups? So now we're sharing our instruction more through these peer groups. So every committee, as Tracy said, has its own peer group. So now we're sharing our instruction and our information more that way. The problem with that is that the videos, the recordings of that are posted on YouTube, because we do not want to have all of those videos posted on our website. It's just such a load on the website. So the problem is then that we don't have the topics written for the actual YouTube videos. And so they're not searchable from our website. So even if we wrote the topic for the YouTube video, it would not be searchable from our website because it's housed in YouTube. So we need to figure out a way to document what the topics are for each peer group and have that reside on our website so you can search for that. So that's a little bit of a technical problem that we're working on. So right now, the YouTube video recordings of our peer group meetings are not searchable. They're not discoverable. You can't put in a topic and get one. So
Dawn, you could not put them in this table here?
we can. We're looking. I mean, yeah, we're looking at doing that. It will become a pretty manual process. We would need a volunteer from this group who would be willing to maintain that, which would be delightful beyond words if we could add to this table the peer group meeting and have the topic and the date, and then the link would go to YouTube. That is exactly what we want, but we're not.
On the right column, it could be peer group.
The type would be peer group. The title would be maybe the date or something, and then the description would be the main topics of that week time. However, to do that, we have to know, we at the communications committee level would have to know what every peer group is talking about that month. So that peer group leader would have to notify us and tell us what their topic was so that we could, and then we would have to have someone place it in this table with the link. So it would be a wonderful task for someone who would like to focus on just one task to help communications, which would be to monitor the peer groups, contact the peer group leaders, ask them what they covered that month, or set up a system for them to report to you what they covered that month, and then to add it to this table. We are not able to do that level of work right now, but we need to just work on building it in the first place. So there's a job opening. And so if anyone is interested, let me know. And we're also going to be looking, this is currently, as I said, it's currently still called webinars at the top, even though that's wrong. So we're probably going to rename this tab something like Leader Resources. But if you have a better idea, now that you've seen the table and you understand its purpose, if you have a better idea for a useful title up here that would help you know where to find this, let me know, because right now we're leaning toward Leader Resources. So we're open to any suggestions. Throw them in the chat or something and let us know if you have another idea on that. So yeah, so Tracy, that's the big update. There's been quite a number of hours work so far on this, and we hope it's beneficial.
No, I think that's going to be great. I think it already is. And I think we can get creative on how to add more to it, like you're talking about the peer groups. I know as leading the peer groups for the last year and this year, I could easily look at the beginning of it and figure out what we talked about. So
Right.
for asking the leaders for that information, the people who have run it, is the right thing to do. And maybe there'd be a process that we do as soon as the the peer group is over. We can put, oh, I need to fill out this form and
Mhm.
send to web team or
That's
whoever.
exactly what we would want to do. And
Right, 'cause-
I'm sure the peer group hosts would be more than happy to do that. And
Mhm.
I think they would just, if we make it as easy as possible, where it's just a Google form or something that they respond to,
Yeah.
or some way of, some formalized way of notifying us. So it doesn't work if we just say, hey, let us know what you covered, and send us an email. So we'll
Mhm.
need a process, and then a process for taking that information and placing it into the table. So
Yeah.
that is definitely our desire and goal.
Yeah, and the peer group sessions aren't like Bobby was saying, how do I find out what these were about? And which one's which, because
Yeah.
they for sure don't have anything in a title that's going to tell them. So yeah, that would be very helpful. So we
Yeah,
don't
so we
reinvent the
really,
wheel some other way.
and we recognize that, and we really need to work on that because
Yeah.
we are disseminating a lot of information now through the peer groups rather than through the webinars and the presentations that we used to do in the past. But we thought we should
Right.
start cataloging what we've done already, and that's kind of where we're working now. But
I
anyway,
think
there's
it's great.
definitely an option here for someone to step up and give us a hand with just this very specific project.
Julika has raised her hand.
I was just gonna mention that, I've been uploading the peer group video to YouTube. And I've been asked now to include a brief description with the
Hmm.
video. So I think Speech Trek was the last one we did like that, and I'm just looking at the descriptions that you send out to the peer group as a start, and then maybe just run it by the facilitator and say, is this okay with you?
Hmm.
Maybe that would be helpful down the road when you're trying to do all the organizing on the website per peer group. And
Right. We just
Yeah,
started that,
so-
but we don't really have a formal process for it yet, Julika. I know that you have been taking it on yourself to look at the invitation that we send to the peer group, which often just mentions the topic, and you've been using that to come up with the topic. So I know I sent in our topic, Tracy, for last month's. So
Mhm.
and then Julika's adding it when she posts. I didn't see it for last month, so I guess we didn't get it. But I feel like we need a more formalized process that everyone is clear on. And then the next step, even though we put the topic on it in YouTube, we want to make it discoverable from our website too. So that's why we need to get it
Yeah,
in the
so
table.
yeah, it's almost like the next step, whether it's Julica or not, I'm not sure. But the
Yeah.
next step would be, oh, I add it to the table now because I have a description, you know, and I can come up with a title
Mhm.
and we can fill out the other information because, and I'm just, you know, whoever works this out can decide whether it should come from the person who facilitated and then let the web team disperse it and as well as doing the YouTube part, you know, so that we're not making them different. They should be the
Mhm.
same.
Absolutely. That's why I think a formal process is better.
I
where-
agree.
Where it's ident, yeah. So that's what we're, so that's, it's great to share that with this group though, so you know kind of what
Yeah.
goes on behind the scenes to make one of these things come true. The things that seem easy and desirable sometimes take, you know, quite a bit of behind the scenes thought and machination. So yeah, that's what we're working on. So
Randa has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I checked to make sure that this was true, that if you go to the where you are going to be looking for something, the glass thing, and put in peer groups, it will come up to, so you don't even have to go to branch tools because you might forget that, but you can go to that and it will come to it.
Oh, good idea.
our master search up here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you taught us something.
Well, I had to check it out. And
You're
then
right. Let's see. It goes to
Yes.
so if we go to this to the search bar for the entire website, not just our table. Yeah, it pulls up this. And that
And then
pulls
Go
up
to that page.
California peer groups, and that pulls up choose your peer group. And I have to mention, I'm wondering if anybody noticed that communications is out of order alphabetically. And you're probably wondering, well, how did that happen? Or maybe you're not, because maybe you really don't care.
I think because
But-
communications was added later, that
It
portion of it.
was, it was, because originally it was technology, so it was, and then we realized that we plan on sharing many things around communications, not just the tech part of it, but maybe marketing or messaging or, you know, other communication things. So we changed it and it didn't get re-alphabetized. So that's not because we're the least important of the peer groups. Let's just establish that.
Well, thank you very much, Dawn. Are there any other? Let's,
before you leave that one, that somebody asked how many peer groups we have, and that's exactly what we have, what's up
Right.
there.
I was gonna say
Right.
that too. Yeah,
What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, I think 10.
looks like.
Yeah. I see a lot of things in chat. Tracy, do you want to look at those?
I've been looking through chat and I
Oh,
think we've
okay.
picked up,
All right.
there's been some suggestions on what to call, like what about calling it peer group meeting resources? That's kind of long for that menu.
Yeah, and I don't want to limit it to the idea there's only peer groups in this table. So I would, for that reason, I would try to make it a broader label.
There was
Yeah.
another one, says webinars, documents, and other helpful items. That's also long. We have to
Yeah, that
kind of
won't
show
fit.
that. But yeah.
Yeah.
And current number of current peer groups, we just showed you how to find that. And frequency of meetings, you can go under each peer group. Actually, I think most of them meet monthly. I can't say that for sure. But you
So
can find out
here-
the frequency under the actual peer group title.
Right. So I just opened up public policy as an example, and it will always give you the contact person and then the meeting frequency.
Yeah, like that one's bi-monthly. So they're all different depending on
Mhm.
the content and when they can meet. The other suggestion, oh, you all at the state level are really stepping up these days, better and better. Thank you. We do work hard. Some
One more thing
thanks.
For me, Tracy, does everybody know that Dawn is the writer of communications? I mean. The
Who she
CC,
is.
We-
She's actually the author of the California Connection. You're actually speaking to the humor, the joker.
The one
The
who
one who
sends
comes
that
up with-
annoying newsletter every month of things you should know, things you should do.
Well,
Right.
it's amazing that you can
Maybe
still
we don't
do
want to
it.
be identified,
Yeah.
because maybe
Yeah, but I mean, what's good about it
noted.
is she's very good at coming up with, I mean, as you've seen, if you've read the California Connection at any more than once, I mean, it's very timely, it's very humorous, and I think it makes it for a quick read, and it also provides really high level information that's necessary. And I think she's been doing such a great job with that. One day she's going to wake up and not have any humor left, and I don't know what we're going to do.
Here's a,
She'll say,
here's
I
an
can't do it
example of-
anymore.
Here's an example of last month's, just in case someone failed to immediately rush to their email box and open it. So you can see that there's some intriguing images that are designed to make you want to look a little bit more at what the heck that article is about, because it has a grasshopper. So how does that relate to AAUW? So it kind of makes you have to go read it a little bit. And why is Plato in there? So that's the connection if you haven't had an opportunity to read it. I'll
Yeah.
stop sharing my screen, Tracy.
Okay, I just wanted to say there was, let's see, what's the difference? I lost it. What's the difference between a webinar and the videos posted on YouTube? Excuse me, YouTube. Difference is the webinar is a planned event where we announced when the event was happening. It's usually run by a PowerPoint presentation with overlay of, facilitator talking. It's more of a presentation. The videos posted on YouTube, the ones we were looking at, the peer groups are more of a group like this, talking about a topic, and then, or even just getting together to just talk in general about their issues. And usually it starts out with the topic. I'm not sure. I know what I do, and I start out with a topic, and then we talk about whatever we want to talk about, mostly to get the peers together, not even the ones who are necessarily have the job, but the ones that are doing the job. And they can ask their questions. They know that there are other people that are probably either struggled with the same situation or issue, and they know that there are peers that they can reach out to. Hopefully you guys can get connected as well. So if you see somebody that you knew before, whatever, you can get their information and contact them offline and say, hey, I saw you in the peer group. I know you talked about this, or do you know more about Google or whatever, and talk offline too, not just during this session. Would it be that the webinars would show all the attendees, and the YouTube videos would only show the shared screen and the presenter, or is there more of a difference? So I think I covered that. More of the webinars are just showing the PowerPoint, usually a PowerPoint presentation. It's definitely a presentation. There's Q&A in there as well, where you may see a screen like this that you're seeing now, where people are asking questions and they're getting answered by the facilitator. But it's more of a formal situation, more of an instructional. Hopefully that answered your question, Peg. And are the webinars on YouTube then open to the public? I don't know. Do you know if our YouTube channel is open to the public? Do you
I
know, Julka?
can't answer that.
Yeah, that's a question we'll
Yeah.
have to get back to you on.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, it's set to public.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna go take a look at it. Okay. That would make sense because we don't really need to hide that information. And it might get somebody interested in our organization if we've got topics that they're interested in.
Mhm.
All right, so
I-
we're at 6:49. Time flies.
I do see one question here that I can address, maybe, Tracy. Where is that? Oh, Peg asked, is the webinar on the membership toolkit yet to be posted? It was very useful. Peg, if you're still there, that's an example where we addressed the new membership toolkit and how to use it in a peer group meeting. It was not a full webinar that the entire state was invited to, like our previous webinars typically were. So it was just it was introduced and explained and demonstrated in the branch development peer group. So you would need to look at the branch development peer groups recording to review that. And we can show you where that is again. This is a perfect example of why we need to make those peer groups searchable. And so there it is. That's why we need to keep working on this project. But Tracy, if you want to show Peg again, perhaps where she could find the recording, it would be last month's recording
Right.
of the peer group. So we'll be at branch tools. Yeah.
Peer groups.
Yeah. For
And
branch
if-
development. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Peg, when you'll have to locate that information up here. It would have been the October presentation. And
Not November here?
I think they covered it in October, and I think in looking at the screenshot, it kind of looks like that's the membership. So that's where you would find that presentation.
It does look like it, yes. So it's October 24th.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that-
if we,
Perfect example of
Yeah.
why we need to help you and see what are in these, because so much important information is now being passed out through the peer groups. So we
but if you
know that.
can't find it, then it's not useful. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, we hear you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah. Any other, we got a no message. Okay, they got it. All right. Any other questions over what we've covered so far or any comments? Yes, Bobby.
See, where am I muted?
Nope, you're live.
Oh, okay. What I'm interested in, and I'm so glad to learn these new paths. This would have saved me so much time when I'm searching for the latest Tech Trek logo or the whatever, because our newspapers often will publish those with our articles about them. And they're so helpful. And I'm hoping I'm also going to find clear, concise write-ups about entities like that, because I think I was searching like in the parents area and that sort of thing I would start reading about Tech Trek and I'd realize, well, this is geared for the parents. This isn't for the public newsletter. And that's always an interest of mine.
I think, Tracy, if we go to the little menu, for
So for Tech Track,
Tech Trek. There should be perhaps under forms and documents, there should be a
what are you looking for?
one-page flyer.
Oh, okay.
It might be under
Mhm.
forms and documents. Let's see. Yeah, there is a one-page flyer, beautiful flyer about Tech Trek that I believe I see it down there. Second paragraph, third bullet, Tech
This
Trek
one, yeah.
flyer, English and Spanish.
Oh, it's beautiful, yeah.
Now that's good. That's similar to what I did find one like that for GovTrek, and it's great. We could put it in our newsletter. We
Right.
can put it on Nextdoor.
Right, and it has
Yep.
really concise summary of the key messaging about Tech Trek that people
Yes.
ask. Do I have to pay for it? What happens there? What do they learn? Who can go? Who can't go? All of that, and then you can
In Spanish
personalize
as well.
this. Yep, and you can personalize it with your own branch information. So. And it's a lovely flyer. So there's your summary, your talking points right there that might be helpful to you. We have a similar one for AAUW in general, like for if you're trying to give people information.
Yeah, I think we took those ideas and made it a lot briefer and handed it out at our September meeting. And we made the meeting focused on learning about AAUW and welcoming prospective members.
I think, Tracy, if you'll check out on the little menu there under forms and documents, it's down toward the bottom. Yeah. And AAUW, yeah, that one. AAUW California flyer. So this is another really useful communication piece we developed this year. For the first time, it's instead of a brochure, instead of the old trifold brochure, it's a single page flyer. And we worked with a marketing company on this, and we did most of the content ourselves, but they did some finessing of it and the graphics on it. So this is a really nice flyer too. This is just all about AAUW in general and what happens at the branch level. And again, this one you can also personalize. And if there's something in this particular flyer that you would like to change to be very specific to your branch. So for example, that block, what happens in AAUW, if you have your own tools for working on a PDF, you can change that yourself, or you can send a message to us at Web Team and we'll adjust that information there to fit your branch specifically if you just tell us what to say, or you can do it yourself if you can work with a PDF. So this flyer should be really helpful to you. Also, when you're looking for marketing materials, it's done, it's ready, print it out.
Yeah. Do you want suggestions on things like that too? Like, I'm real pleased with what we came up with, which was an adaptation from the ideas in that, but we made it simpler and more specific to our branch. But if people want to copy that, they're welcome to.
Sure. I don't think we'll be doing any more work on that flyer this year because we kind of have to move on to some other things. But
Oh, I'm not, no, I don't mean change your flyer at all. I'm
okay.
just saying, I
Oh,
think
how
it's a
you
good
adjust it?
example. Do you have a way where people can share things like
Do you
that,
have
things that have
you
been
have it
useful?
posted? Do you have it available somewhere where you could post a link for everyone here to look at it?
If you tell me how to do it, I might be able to. I don't know how to post a link to it.
I would
Is it-
love.
How do you post a link to it?
Is it on your website? Is it on your
It's on my
Yeah, we're-
computer.
It's on your computer, okay. So, well, one way is if you had a Google account. Do you have a Google account?
I don't think so.
A Gmail account?
A Gmail account? Oh, but I
Yeah.
don't use it, so I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know the passwords or anything.
Okay. Well, one thing, unless somebody has a better idea, quicker one, you can look at the tech peer group last month. And it talks all about how to do that. Just create a Gmail, how to create, you already get a Google. I think Karen's raised her hand here, but you can use the Google Docs. I'm sorry, the Google Drive. And it tells you how to do that. So for example, Karen, you have a quicker way?
No. I was just gonna say,
Okay.
why doesn't she put her email in the chat box so we can email and talk to her about it? I'd love to see it.
Okay, there's that way too.
This is
That's a
Betty,
good-
who's the
that's a
I'm
good
the
quick
webmaster for Bobby's branch. I can put that on the website and create a link. And then Bobby can pass the link out.
Okay,
Oh, let's see, Betty, that's our
I'm a webmaster.
webmaster, thank you. Anyway, I think it's already on our website.
okay, then yeah, you
Okay,
could get a
let
URL.
me-
Yeah,
Let me see if it is.
But I don't know your website.
Oh, it's just, if you type into Google AAUW Del Mar Leucadia, it'll come up. But I'm trying to, can I get to? Oh, yeah. You take us all there. Okay.
okay, this one right here, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but let's see if it's there under membership.
Membership, join. Maybe join,
Yeah.
or maybe the value. Maybe
I
it's
don't
this
think
one.
it's out there.
You don't think you put it there?
Oh,
No. No, it would be on its own page.
right.
Mhm.
Just, I would have the link. Bobby can send the link out. But we haven't
Yeah,
we haven't enabled the viewing of it.
okay.
Oh, about AAUW? Is it under there?
Yeah, so that if it's posted, then you can get a URL for it, and then that's all you'd have to do is provide the URL
Right.
to anybody who's interested in looking at it.
Bobby and I can work behind the scenes on that one.
Okay, and then who would we send it to?
Actually, we have,
You can send it to communications.
yeah, I think sending it to communications, actually web team or no?
What, how
just-
about maybe just communications, and then we'll decide how we want to ask, what we want to ask web team to do with it.
Okay,
Okay.
so when you say
It's just a sample. I'm not
communications-
suggesting you change anything you've done. Just
No,
yours
it's
gave us
helpful.
the ideas to do our own thing.
I love
And we
the,
will display it. If you just send it to communications, Bobby, then maybe if Tracy remembers, at our next peer group meeting, we can display it for everybody to take a look at it.
Yeah,
So
and that
what's-
email address is just communications, right? At AEW.
The communications at, aau-ca.org.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
Okay.
then
dash CA, what's CA?
.org.
Okay, and is W and CA, is the W and C capitalized or?
nothing
Everything's
capitalized.
Oh,
lowercase.
wait, I'm sorry. W is part of the label. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you send it
I
there and
can't
then when
do-
we see it, it'll be really fun to share it. To share it at the next group meeting.
Yeah,
okay.
and that leads me to what topic do we want to have at our next meeting? Yes, Roseanne. You're muted. Roseanne, you need to unmute. Where did she go? There she is. There
There,
you go.
can you hear
There.
me?
Yes, I can.
I'm trying to retire and I have a couple of branches that I still help. And I'm trying to convince one of them to go to the national website. And I just can't do it because she posts tons of photos from all their events. And the association's websites limits the amount of stuff you can put on there. Do you know a way around it, or do you know a way to convince them so I can get them to go to it?
First of all, what does she want to post on the national website? Are you?
No, not the
using
national,
About
on
making
her
it
own branch.
on her own branch website?
But
Okay,
you know, she doesn't have a branch website from association. She has one that we used to all have before association came.
okay.
But I'm trying to get her to go over there.
Oh, to go to site resources.
Yeah, but they limit you. You're always having to delete stuff, and she doesn't want to delete her photos. Do you have any ideas?
First of all, why do you want her to go to site resources? Just for easy, why you want to change it from your own website?
Because I used to have 28 websites, and I taught about 4 AAUW people from different branches to do their websites. I've gotten all of them to convert over, but this
Hmm.
one branch won't do it because, okay, first of all, I have my own server and I have a lot of websites there, and I'm getting rid of them all. I'm 83 and I want to retire, but she won't go. So I don't know
Well,
what to do.
what you do, I think, unless somebody has a better idea, is say, I'm closing shop. So either you find somebody else to host your website. or you
Okay,
go to
I
site
can be that
resources.
crude, but I just didn't want to.
Well, and I get you, but she doesn't want to lose all her photos and there is a limit. So, I guess she has a decision to make. If you're gonna stop doing that, then I see no other way to do it.
That's a good place for Google to have
True.
photos.
She could
put up
maybe,
to
you're
Google.
right. You could actually suggest that she look into keeping her photos in Google instead of on her website platform. And then she
I
won't
think
lose
Karen
them.
has an idea too. I think she had an answer. Karen's got her hand up.
I was going to say that we had problems with national and our things were too large, but what we didn't understand is how to make them smaller. So we went back in and compressed the PDFs and we could put more of our pictures. We use the national website. We don't pay for it, so we have to do all the stuff ourselves. But when we're stuck, I said, what am I going to do? She gave me a link where you can make your pictures smaller. But I think if you have a lot of pictures you want to draw on, putting it on Google and then, having a link there for Google Docs would be wonderful for them. But I would definitely keep my photos and I would, try, if she's doing it just for the month, you can shrink them for the month and not keep that, what do you call it? The whole picture group going. That you got to take them off after you've done it for a month or two. You got to take those pictures off.
Right, she does do that, but we're talking now 10 years of stuff.
Oh, she needs to put that on Google Docs. Yeah.
Yeah, but they charge too, so I just have to convince her, I guess.
I don't think it's going to be a big charge. If it is, I mean, storage.
Yeah. No, I
I
would.
don't think it's a lot.
No. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And I
Okay.
think Peg has her hand up too, Tracy.
Yeah, Peg.
I'll get it.
Yes.
So in talking about different topics, one thing that I keep hearing, hinted about is a revision of our website template through Wordsmith. And yet I haven't heard any timetable or anything like that. And it's a little disconcerting. Is it all of a sudden gonna change? We know what happened with the membership hub. I don't want to have to go through that. Is there any information or any way that anybody on the state committee, I see Dawn going no, but I mean, does anybody respond to you when you ask about this?
Dawn, you
speak on
probably
that
have
in just
more
a
of the
second.
latest on that, just being around Sandy.
Yeah, we're really lucky. Sandy has quite a pipeline with National because she's been very helpful to them in working out their hub problems. So we have they have our ear. So can be thanks Sandy for that. And unfortunately, though, she doesn't know any more than we don't know any more information than we ever have been told. We are still being told it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. There's no timeline that's been given. And if anybody would know, Sandy would know because they are, she works with them on a monthly basis, helping them with some of their tech situations. And so the last she heard, which we actually announced in our B2B article to branch leaders, was that they were going to be rolling out the logos for the branches. For those of you who use Site Resources websites, you can now, they were supposed to be rolling out your own branch logos. Well, hasn't happened yet, and there was no timeline for it. So the complete revision of those the themes and the websites. We have no information to help you with that.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately.
just thinking that when we start getting information like that, if anybody gets, that would certainly be a great topic.
Yes.
And also, to help each other have a transition plan from one thing to another would be really super.
We'll be all over it as soon as it happens.
Trust me.
We'll be all over it.
And also Sandy has volunteered California to do that before it goes national, if they take us up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I think the transition, just like for the hub, the transition is almost more important than the other question I had for this group. And maybe, I'll go back and look at the Facebook webinar that I saw, but our Facebook page, is there any way to have a Facebook page that's not attached to a member? Because our Facebook page was attached to me as a person, and got hacked, and now my access has been taken away and I'm getting no response anywhere from anybody at Facebook.
The only thing I can think of is it needs to have an email address. I'm wondering what else it needs. Because you could create a
Mhm.
branch
Yeah.
email address,
Yeah,
you
we do
know?
have that. Yeah.
And I wonder what other information it needs, and if you can make it just generic information. And not have to use any personal information. I'd have to go back in and look. Haven't been in
Roseanne, do
memory.
you know? You're muted. You're muted.
I don't believe you have to see the person. When I set ours up for Danville, I set up 4 people, not just myself, so that each person would have access to go and fix things, but you never see our personal address.
I didn't think
Right,
so either.
you
So-
can set up other admins, but my question was about establishing the page. But let me try a few things and we'll see. Because
Establish
using-
it in the name of the branch.
yeah,
Yeah,
because and I don't know what I'm going to do. There are no admins on our original Facebook page. It's out there as an orphan, and I can't get
That's
Facebook
what
to
happens.
respond to anything.
and that happens. That's not unheard of, and no simple solution to it. Can't get rid of it, can't change it. Nobody has access if that person's gone. And you don't have their password and their information, so that's unfortunate, and it's always been true.
Well, I filed actually there was a credit card attached to it that was the reason it was hacked, and I filed a police report on that, and I've sent in all kinds of, anyway, so I'm about at the point of sending a registered certified letter to Zuckerberg and, attaching all this stuff.
That could be a topic for us.
I can see what happens. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, Bobby.
I just emailed it, our membership flyer to communications@aauw.ca.org, and I hope it gets to someone.
Okay, Dawn's, I can see she's looking.
I'm looking.
I have one more item that I wanted to mention. If any of you use Canva for your branch, you can, if you are a 501c3 or 501c4, you can actually get the premium edition for free. You have to send in some documentation, but it didn't take hardly any time at all. It had to be a letter from our president and so forth and so on, but it really unlocks things for us.
So
Uh,
501c3
Or
or 4.
Well, it might just be 501c3s, but we have
Mhm.
3 projects that are, or 4 projects that are 501c3s within our branch, so that worked for us.
How does it work for other people to use it? I know our person that does the does the flyers for our activities and posts things on Facebook for us. She uses Canva, but when you get something like that, can different members use it, or how does it work?
It is supposed to be available to all members of the branch, but I am the only one using it right now, so I don't know what the process is to get all the other people on it.
Ah,
Yeah, we had a Canva, it was in a tech peer group. And I think there's also Canva within a webinar. So
Mhm.
there is information out there, whether it covers that, I don't know. I'd
Mhm.
have to go look at them again, which I'll
Okay,
do.
thanks.
Yeah, if she covered that information. What else can anybody think of that they're struggling with? They could use some more help.
What is
Yes.
Canva?
How would you describe it, Peg? It's a repository of images for one, and it allows you to create forms and so forth.
Well, it has
Flyers.
templates for all kinds of things, brochures, social media posts, posters, flyers, mailings, all kinds of
Newsletters.
newsletters. Yeah. And then what you can do is take those things and pull the template up and then change things. And it does have quite a library of shapes, graphics, pictures, etc., all royalty free, that you can use to, change their templates.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're using it right now for our Instagram posts about our scholarship fundraising drive. out on Instagram. On Facebook if I could get to my page, but on our Instagram, AAUW San Jose.
That sounds exciting.
Okay, so I don't think I see anybody else with their hand raised. Other than you, Peg, I think you're done though. You just left your hand up. I'm not mistaken. Okay, next month, our meeting is on the first Tuesday, which is January 2nd. Really quick after New Year's. So yeah, I'll be thinking about what topics. If you come up with any, then please, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat here real quick. Those of you still here.
Or
Tracy,
can
can you,
find it on the website under the peer group listings that we taught you about too, right?
That's true too.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was at Zumba. So when the meeting's over, I want to ask you a question, Tracy, because I couldn't get on this meeting. I tried. So I need a little bit of instruction. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Bobby, I
Anybody
received the email with the flyer.
Great. You say you
Oh.
didn't or you did?
I
You
did.
Good.
Yeah. So,
All right, then I
yeah,
think we're
Tracy,
done.
I don't know who
Yes.
was asking for help, but
Me,
the rest of
Toby.
us-
Me, Toby.
Toby,
Yeah.
okay.
If you want to
So do you
stay
want
on,
to
Don,
excuse the
because
rest
you're
of
doing,
us?
yeah, stay
No,
on,
if-
Don, if you would.
Oh,
So anyway,
okay.
hold on a second, Toby. So we are
Yeah.
ending this meeting now. I'm going to turn off the recording and thank you all for joining. I appreciate it, and everybody else appreciates it because we can share our knowledge, and that's how we get to know more. So please join us next time, January 2nd. Same way you got here today, and I will look forward to seeing you then. I don't know what the topic is yet, but we'll send out an email when we know.
And have
Okay.
great holidays, everybody.
And great, have a great holidays.
See you
Yes.
Yeah.
next
Yes.
year.
Woo-hoo.
Okay.
Let's all go drink some eggnog right now.
I love eggnog.
Okay.